to be able to get these things
Good
about
evening,
you. So now I
everybody.
know it about you.
My name is Adesochi. One thing people don't know about me is that I'm really crazy about aviation. I like aviation a lot. If I see a plane fly by, I can tell you the company that made it, the year it was made, the name, and all that. I even have a flight app on my phone to monitor planes everywhere.
Oh, wow. 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 Okay, thank you so much. So, again, my name is Bukola. One thing that a lot of people do not know about me is that, hello? One thing that people do not know about me is that I do not know brand of car. Whether your car is 2023, whether it's 2021, whether it's 90, I don't even know that. Whether it's Corolla, whether it's this, car is car to me. I cannot start cramming. I think it was recently that my sister said I can know the name of car from the back. That they always, some of them usually put their name. So that's why I used to say, oh, this is Corolla, this is Toyota. I don't know. I just know this is a car. A car is a car to me. 2021, 2020, I don't know. It's just a car. So yeah, thank you so much again thank you for coming for this citizens conversation. And I trust we are going to have an interesting discussion today because our speakers or our panelists are ready. They are well versed in this. Today's today's Girls in ICT World Day. And this conversation is just to look around and let us know how far women have come in tech, the challenges, and also maybe possible solution that can be feasible to get more women to pursue career in the ICT space. We are all going to agree with me that currently, right now, a lot of jobs are going digital. I remember having a conversation with someone like a few days ago, and I was like, if I see someone carrying CV in their hand and looking for a job, I know that is the last resort because currently you hardly carry CV. Unlike what Nollywood used to show before, I'm going to be looking for a job. You just go online and check job website for jobs, right? Is there anybody that carries CV in one envelope and tie with suit and trousers and cover shoe with dust, and your envelope will be here under your armpits, and you are looking for a job? It's not as if the organization has to come for interview and you are taking your CV like you are looking for a job. You want to be going to company from company. Hello, do you have a job here? Do you have a job here? I want to believe that nobody does that. So I was telling her that, but people do that. If you see someone doing that, that means that is the last resort for the person. It's not because the person did not check online, but he didn't get online. So he or she decided to let me just walk inside their company and ask, maybe they have vacancy or something. And according to UN, in 2050, 75% of job will be based on STEM, will be digital. A lot of jobs now are even remote. Some are hybrid, come maybe 2 or 3 days, and go back in, and work from home for 2 days. And that is the kind of world we are going in. So we want to see possible way. If the world is going to this direction, you will all agree with me that it means people need to learn these skills that will make them employable. In fact, in most jobs description for requirement, you will see, do you have knowledge of Zoom, Stack, all these remote things they will use to communicate with their employees. These are little things they expect from you. And at the same time, a lot of jobs now are asking you for some little background. Even as a writer, you will see something like you have knowledge of WordPress. Yeah. As a writer. Gone were those days where you just write. But now you have to have the knowledge of WordPress too. you have knowledge of SEO and stuffs like that. So these are something that we're already seeing. But now imagine, currently now we're in 2023. Imagine 2050. Currently now we're almost going into the remote space. Now imagine in 2050. I feel as if 75 is even them being nice. Because it seems literally all jobs we have chat GBT right now. Put it inside that. How to make money, write an article on how to make money in 2020. It's going to give you confirmed writer of how. Of course, that particular chat, definitely. But that is just it. And there is a need for us to have this conversation because research shows that 75% of women do not have access to internet. And you cannot do anything. I don't know, my tech gurus, can we do anything in the tech space without internet? Data analyst, can we do something without internet? LAN, software engineer. Okay. Miss Adela. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So we all need the internet, and we all need to have little knowledge or some amount of knowledge in it to be able to go with the change that is bound to happen. Change will happen, and that is it. And a lot of jobs will be digital, and that is the fact. But we need to have this conversation. Not just discussing, at the same time providing solutions that we feel as if can be helpful. Our panelists, as I said, are well-versed people. They are going to give us possible solutions to what they feel are barriers and challenges that we are facing. And at the same time, you will be able to answer and also ask them. As I said, they are experts in this field. So you can ask them, and we have some online viewers too. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll be starting the panel section right now. Again, welcome to Citizens Conversation. I know you are going to have an interesting day today. So the first panelist for this section will be Adeola Olaleye. Please, can you clap for her and come and take your seat? She's a software engineer at Seamless HR. Thank you so much, Adeola, for coming. Our next panel is Charles. Charles is Chief Development Officer at Area High. Next, we have Lan. Lan is a front-end developer at Apex, right? Yeah. Thank you, Lan. It's tech gurus we're having here. Very well. The next panelist is Benedita. Benedita is a data analyst for African Exchange Company. Thank you so much. Then our last panelist for today is Vivian. Vivian is the Chief Information Officer at Elstack Solution Limited and also winner of 2020 MIT Hacking Resume in Healthcare. So, yeah, you can just stay here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today. And before we start, can you kindly introduce yourself, starting from my right, your name, your educational background, now and how you find yourself in the tech space. Okay, thank you so much, and we're starting now. We're starting the panel discussion now, and sorry for the little delay. Yes, before we'll go straight into the introduction, can you kindly introduce yourself and tell us your name, what you do, your educational background, and how you find yourself in the tech space?
All right, thank you for that question. Good evening, everyone. My name is Olutola Vivian Awoshiku, and I studied biomedical laboratory science at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. I ventured into tech when I was in my, let's say, 200 level, when I attended the Women Tech Makers Summit, and that was my very first encounter with tech. So I listened to these women who are already doing amazing stuff in the tech space, the likes of Yetunde Sonny, who worked in Adela and Iri. So while they were speaking, I kind of just fell in love with tech, and since then I've transitioned from web development to data science. So currently I work at HealthStack, which is a digital health startup in Nigeria, and I basically just help the startup align their technology together with clinical workflow, and I also lead the data and AI team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Olajide. I studied chemistry education at University of Ilorin, and I currently work with AID for Rural Education Access Initiative. So how do I get into tech? Interestingly, I think I'm the only person here that is not mainstream tech, right? But I work more on technology policy and development, right? Trying to look at ethical consideration and social impact of technology and how they either exacerbate or avoid social inclusion or exacerbate inequality in society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. Okay, so my name is Adela Olaleye. So I'm back-end engineer at Seamless HR. I studied computer science in Kwara State. Yeah, so that's my educational background. I studied computer science and I fell in love with web development. I was really not being taught in school, yeah, but I know this is what I want to do. I really don't know how it's going to be, but thank God someone came my way and then I was able to find my path. So aside being a software developer, I'm a Women in Tech advocate, WTM ambassador, Women Tech Maker ambassador. I'm a community manager and I empower women. So I manage communities too. I mean tech communities. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Benedicta Philemon. I have a diploma in computer science from diploma. I have a diploma in computer science, but my main degree was at the University of Ilorin, where I studied agricultural economics. So I ventured into tech in my final year. I had to go to the field, collect data, and make research, and it was really, really intriguing for me. So I went online, found out how I can make a career out of this. Then I discovered data science as a career. I discovered data analytics. So I joined Data Science Nigeria to broaden my knowledge of data science. And while I was there, I partook in a hackathon, right? So I was the 10th amongst over 400 participants all over Nigeria. Then after then, I developed myself by watching videos on YouTube. And right now, I work with Apex as a data analyst.
Thank you so much. And
hi everyone, my name is Hemense Lan. I studied mechanical engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Mina. I would say my venturing into tech has always been a long time coming, because right from secondary school, I was exposed to things like basic and stuff, and I always loved it and I was quite good at it. So I would say I first got intrigued with tech in 2016. One of my classmates then, Silas Adedoyin, current CEO of Catalog, check it out, awesome stuff. When he started learning tech, it was kind of intriguing watching him work, but then I was more interested in playing football and stuff, so I kind of like let it go. Then the vibe came back in 2019, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. And I just decided to double down. And like I said, it was a long time coming. Always had the background. It was just a time to just put down my roots. And now I work as a front-end developer at Apex. We are building cool stuff for Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, we have amazing people here in the tech space, and people that also works concerning the policies, right? Yeah, thank you so much. So going straight to my first question, we are all going to agree that with me that we kind of technology is taking space in our personal and professional life, and there is this need to just have the digital skills to be able to, work around our personal and professional life. So just in 10 seconds, what are the important digital skills you feel as if women and girls should have? Starting with you, Lan.
I would say cybersecurity.
Okay.
Should I expatiate?
No, just that.
I would say social media, learning how to build online presence. And also, I don't want to use the word Googling, but like knowing how to get information for yourself online.
Oh.
Sorry. Digital literacy is very important because some people don't even know how to operate system. They don't even know how to operate phone. Like they don't know how to save themselves, right? So digital literacy is very, very important. The first step.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's quite interesting. I was going to mention online safety and
Okay.
internet navigation, but I mentioned already. So I think the basic tech skill that require them to use basic smartphones, right? That's very important as well.
Okay.
I think I will agree with basic digital literacy skill is important for women to engage in digital economy because you have to actually firstly know how to navigate through the internet, navigate through applications and what have you. So from there you can now build up on online safety and the likes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. This is a good question. This question is leading me straight to my next question because, I mean, we all know the important skills, digital skills we feel as if girls and women should have. But there's something stopping them. There's a barrier to women going in tech, going in the digital space. Because of research that UN show us that 35% of women doesn't have access to internet. And if they want to learn the cyber security, the social media management, and all other skills that we mentioned here, they need this internet or technology to actually be able to access them. So what are the barriers that the women in tech are facing? I will go with Lan for that. Yes, I can.
That's a very good question. So I would limit my answer to just Nigeria before I talk about globally. So for Nigeria, that percentage you gave is a bit higher. It's like about 60% of women don't have access to the internet.
Oh, wow.
It's that 30% is just globally. In Nigeria, it's much worse. And I would say some of the barriers that we have for women going into tech, it's not just tech, it's STEM in general, I feel. Some of the barriers are societal based. You see parents discouraging their female children. Like STEM is stereotyped as a male only field, and that is the very first barrier. If from the very onset you are limiting them from dreaming, how then can they go on to become what we have in tech? We have some wonderful women in tech. From Nigeria, you have the CEO of PBS.
Yes.
Brilliant woman. We have
Sure.
Abdul, one of the most brilliant cloud engineers out there. She's a woman, and we have so much example. And from the very onset, girls are not being pushed to go into STEM. And another barrier will be internet. Nigeria's internet access is really poor. We have, but about 7% of the country is not covered with fast internet. I mean 4G. societal pages, and it just goes on to show how much of our women don't have access to go to school.
Thank you so much for that insightful comment from you, Lan. Adiola, do you have something to say?
I work with women because I manage women in tech community, and this one thing that I notice about most of our women is the fact that they have this belief that they can do it. They have this belief like you're very smart, and I used to tell them I'm not smart. The only thing is I have passion for this, and then I go for it. I look for people that they are doing this very well. When I want to start my career, the first person that inspired me was Iwe, right? And some of my friends challenged me, see what this lady is doing, see what, there was no much ladies when I started 2016, right? There's no so much, I'm sure there are some of them, but they are not outside like we have them now. So most of them, they think less of themselves. And that is something to stop, even if everything is being made available, the internet, the money, or what you need, but you don't believe in yourself. There is no how you can strive. There is no how you can put yourself out there. So I used to tell them something: overcome your fear, right? Believe in yourself and know that you can do it, and start doing it. I'm not saying you will not face challenges. In fact, it's in phases, but it's a sign that you are progressing. Right.
Thank you so much for that. Lam mentioned something about parental influence, and you talked about
limiting themselves. They don't believe in themselves.
Like lack of confidence in going to the tech space. Benedita, do you have something to say?
Yeah, so I would like to mention same societal belief. So I'll give this story, right? When I was transitioning to data science, I was done with school, and I was going to stay at home all day and be with my laptop, watching tutorial and practicing. My mom would be like, this is not what you should be doing. You're a lady. Better go and learn how to sew clothes, or go and learn how to do something. You can't just be on your system every day. And it sinks, right? Because most ladies don't want to go into tech, right? Because they feel that, it's not a human thing. Yeah, so if you can overcome that, so to solve that, we need more female in tech who are role models, who are putting themselves out there, so that I can be like, I see this person doing it, and I think I can also do it too.
Thank you so much for that. Charles, you work with an organization that works around women, girls. And you've organized program around tech, right? So from your angle, what are the ways that you feel as if these challenges can be bridged? Also, in your field, what are the challenges you feel as if girls, today is Girls in High City, what are the challenges that girls in High City has faced, and what are the possible solutions your organization has given, and also the one you will recommend that can actually bridge this gap?
Great. That's quite complex, but I think I will start from the fact that one challenge I think girls face in ICT is information literacy, right? Many girls out there do not know the opportunities, right, that lies in digital transformation or digital economy. They do not know what they could do with tech skills, right? They do not, you go to secondary school, you're speaking to girls that are talking about they want to become a doctor, they want to become a lawyer, they want to become an accountant. No one's talking about cybersecurity, data scientist, no one's talking about back-end engineer, something like that. So there is this information literacy. People do not really know about the opportunity, right, of the space generally, or the sector generally, right? That's one. And on the other side is the gender discrimination, right? What people mentioned earlier that, girls believe that, okay, it's a guy thing, right? It's a boy thing, right? They should go into it and they can do something else. And you also see that, it reflects in the kind of programming we see in development practice. If you probably see an NGO that's going to do intervention empowerment for women, you see them probably buying sewing machine for them. You see them buying a grinding machine for them, right? Because people are not exposed to the reality of this age, right? So I think that's part of the challenges, right? And I think what we've done to, equip girls in schools with digital skills is what we call a digital skills accelerator for women and girls, right? By leveraging research, policy, and practice, because we believe that anything we want to do must be research informed, right? So we design a program that has two different pathways, one for girls above the age of 18 and those from the age of 15 to 18, right? The first one is called the Basic Digital Skills for Learning Program, which equips girls with basic skills for learning program. How can they leverage Excel or Microsoft? I mean, how can they have access to Zoom, online learning, right? Those are basic digital skills. Then the second component is what we call the Advanced Digital Skills for Employability, right? How can we empower girls, particularly those that belong to the need category, those that are not in education, employment, or training? That's even worse, right? So we equip them with market demand digital skills such as data analysis, cybersecurity, cloud computing. I mean, that they can actually learn those skills and go get employment, right? So now talking about what can we do generally, holistically, right, to address the gender digital divide or the gender divide in the tech ecosystem generally in Nigeria or globally. I think we need to look at it from the angle of policy and from the angle of opportunities, right? What is government doing to improve gender policy in tech, right? How do you ensure that, right from school, people have access to basic computer sciences? I mean, in secondary school right now, computer science is not a compulsory course for everyone. So, for example, if I'm not in science department, I might not have the opportunity to take computer science in school, and that's where it starts from. So, we have to reorientate our policies, right, from the elementary level in schools, integrate these basic skills into curriculum, and they can learn from there. Then, from the programming perspective, we have to look at how can we improve the economy generally, right? How do we ensure that recruitment policy, right, favors women that want to participate in tech, right? How do we ensure that, I mean, for example, NISA has something called the National Digital Economy Policy. How do we ensure that it is gender transformative? Because it's good that we have good policies, but are they gender transformative? Do they favor women or they only just cater for men, right? So I think if we can combine this approach from a policy perspective and programming perspective, we can be able to, overcome most of the challenges that we encounter right now.
Thank you so much, Charles, for those points. That was kind of big from your end. I mean, for us to solve the problem of... Hello? I mean, for us to solve the problem of tech, I believe we have to go through we have to check all the faces because there are a lot of factors actually stopping women. It's not just from the angle of, let's look at it from the angle of, okay, maybe curriculum. We also need to go to the angle of the government. Then we need to check the policy. Vivian, do you have something to add to what Charles said concerning strategies that we can use to bridge the gap and get more women to participate?
All right, so today is Girls in ICT Day, but in as much as we're trying to push tech skills and promote ICT and all, I don't want us to lose sight that other, how will I call it, other jobs like design, tailoring, all of those things, they are still good skills, right? But then we can always teach women how to use tech to improve their tailoring skills, hairdressing, how to leverage social media to promote their businesses and all. Not everyone is going to be a cybersecurity expert. Not everyone is going to be a data scientist, right? So because in as much as we're trying to increase participation of women in ICT, we should not also widen the gap and leave those people behind. People actually doing those, how will I call it, the tailoring, the other side of the non-technical, let me put it, non-technical jobs, right? So that we have this balanced approach towards inclusion and gender equality. So for me, I think they've mentioned a lot of points about the social cultural barriers, the fact that women are technophobic. They believe there is this history, like it has been historically ascribed. It has been historically ascribed that men are meant to be in the STEM domain, right? So they've mentioned a lot of those barriers, and Charles explained the possible solutions and strategies. For me, I think so I've also worked with a non-governmental organization called Temperios Educational Foundation based in Lagos, and we do a lot of STEM trainings for younger ones and girls in low-cost public and private schools. laptops. Yeah.
Laptops.
I actually got my laptop from Twitter, and that was what I'm using till now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
As I said, tech space is expensive. So, Vivian, you work in the tech space same time with health, technology and health together. Kind of. Yes. So, what kind of partnership do you feel as if can promote this health?
All right. Can you hear me? All right. Can you hear me? I should continue. All right. So for health tech, health tech cannot really ride without digital literacy because you are basically putting healthcare online so that it's more accessible to people. So without empowering women with the appropriate digital skills, health tech cannot actually fly. Because if you are developing digital health solutions in a world that is already, characterized by inequalities, especially gender inequalities, then you're not going to meet the target audience. You're not going to actually. Can you hear me? All right. So I think the WHO actually has a global digital health strategy that has been developed for all countries in the world. It's very important for Nigeria especially to implement a national strategy that involves gender equality plans so that digital health interventions and solutions that are made in the country are actually accessible to all. Like, it's very representative. No gender is being left behind. So also in the strategy, it is stated that when countries are planning and prioritizing digital health intervention, they need to work with relevant stakeholders within the ecosystem. So the government just, we are putting this policy up. They need private partners as well to implement. They need probably donor organizations, funding organizations, tech support, telco, banks, financial support, and all of those things. So it's a consolidated support towards empowering women healthcare. And we shouldn't just, aside from developing women digital skills to use digital health solutions, we shouldn't just do that. We should also enable them to become creators of digital health solutions. And that can only happen when, after they've developed the digital skills, the government also needs to collaborate with incubators, accelerators, universities, ops, to ensure that once they develop digital skills, they can then develop ideas, entrepreneurship ideas, innovation ideas that can be incubated in these places, get venture funding for them as well, so that this product can scale. And because when women participate in scientific innovation, you don't just produce anyhow innovation. You produce innovation that takes care of female healthcare, and it is safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Vivian. Thank you for that. So going straight to Benedita. So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel as if, one of the problems that women face, especially in Africa or Nigeria, is this domestic violence, or violence in general, even digital violence and online violence. So how do you feel as if tech, as a data analyst, can actually help reduce domestic violence for women?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So, okay, I will talk about digital skills, right? So, if a lady or a woman is digitally skilled, right, she can be more financially independent to be able to cater for herself, or be able to probably leave once there's a domestic violence. And also with digital skills, she can be able to voice out her opinion, and also connect with other communities that would listen to her and help her overcome the challenge. But domestic violence and data except she's a data analyst, the two don't really marry themselves. But with digital skills, she can like be independent. She can learn skills that will make her more financially independent and to make her overcome the challenge.
Thank you so much, Benedicta. Adiola, do you have something to add? How can digital skills help address social injustice to women?
Okay. I saw a movie during the last holiday. The movie was The Wildflower, and the lady was raped, right? So she was trying to explain herself. I think she tried to report herself, and really, there was nobody listening to her. So the next thing she did was to pick her phone and did a live record, I think on Instagram, and it went viral. Not knowing the person that actually raped her, there are so many other people that are victims. And that was how she was able to get herself back. That was how she was able to get her dignity back, because others that they were victim like that, but they couldn't speak up. But because of her boldness using the internet, news carried it as in, and that is how the man was being sued. And then she was, in fact, he needed to pay for damages, right? And then she got a victory, right? So the social media is actually a very good tool for any one of us, most especially women, to help ourselves, right? And at the same time, it also serves as a place whereby you can network, where you can meet people, like Benedicta was saying, where you can network. So many people that I've met, I work from home, so I don't really meet people, right? So I meet them online, and that is how I'm able to expand my network and all of those things. So, and that is what digital can do for you. When you're on social media, you put nice content out there. They are not, in fact, some people you have to reach out to them. Some will even reach out to you like, I love what you're doing. I would like to partner with you and all of those things. And then you get employed like that, right? It's it's not so rampant for you to now start carrying CV. I think someone made mention of it when we wanted to start this meeting. Like, it's been long. I get to see that actually. Everything is online. So if you are not there, then you are missing a lot. So you have to bring up yourself to as much as possible, though we know the society might be limiting, but at least, I don't know, just find a way and get yourself out there. And then being online also can help you, your health-wise, with all this telemedicine that we have online, right? Healthcare that are online. There are so many times when I'm feeling somehow, I Google it, like what exactly this can be and all of those. You can speak with a doctor. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You don't have to queue in the hospital. So there are a whole lot of benefits to digital, to being online there for women.
Okay, thank you so much, Adiola. I think the health professional here want to ask something.
Please don't Google your symptoms. It's not advisable. But that's
okay. But it's not advisable. Yeah, but really, I know what exactly that is.
It's not.
So, like, okay, let me say for instance, I went to the hospital. Okay, let me give you an instance.
Okay.
I went to the hospital. They asked me, "How are you feeling?" I was just looking like this. I'm having fever. I'm having a headache and all of those things. They're like, okay, we'll do some tests for you and all of those things. I did that. So, but it wasn't working. So I needed to go online when you are feeling like this. What is being called? And I was told like it's like nausea, like you are having nausea or something. And when I went back to the hospital, and this is what I'm feeling, this is the name of what I'm feeling. And they were like, okay. So they were able to give me the right, really. It happened to me last week. They were able to give me the right medication. You know, I'm sick, so I don't even know how to explain myself. So using that word, they were able to get what
you're
exactly
more informed. You're like a more informed person. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So concerning data analysis and gender, I think there is a link, because I think most times when we don't have solutions to stop is because we don't have data about it. So I think we need to start gathering data, especially in Nigeria or Africa context, to know, to learn more about, interview people, get down to the nitty-gritty of why all of these things are happening, the violence, domestic struggle, and all of those. This data that we get can actually inform policymakers to make better informed decisions. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Vivian. I mean, to add to what Adiola said, it was during COVID I stopped browsing about symptoms. Literally, all symptoms I was having.
Yeah.
But they are online doctors that.
Yeah, telemedicine is more.
Yeah,
is
now.
more. Yeah. Not
No,
Google.
it was just Google. I thought you were actually talking about Google. Just go to
not just
Google.
Google, actually, not just
Because Google have a lot of information. A lot.
And it can be biased because your data is naturally might not be used to train that particular information. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for that. So going straight to the next question, which is to Charles. Charles, what are the what are the possible ways to make environment conducive for women to actually go into tech? Because I usually get there was a tech professional that we once had a discussion with, and she was like, one of the reasons why women do not go into tech is because of the environment. Sometimes the tech environment is not conducive, especially in the tech space, to women. Women have to like walk twice to get recognized for their effort. They have to keep proving and proving. So what are the ways to make environment conducive for women to actually go into the tech space?
Interesting. I think we need to, number one, improve on information literacy, right? Let people know that tech is for everyone, right? It's not gender-based, right? Anyone could wake up today, bring an innovation and develop it, right? We should improve advocacy and sensitization, right? People should be aware, right? If you're more aware, you're able to make the right decisions, right? The second thing I think it's important for us to do would be to see how we can promote gender-responsive tech policies, right? How many companies in Nigeria have gender-responsive recruiting strategies, right? How does their HR system work, right? Do they acknowledge the rights of women in the workplace, right? Another thing I think which is quite important would be for women and girls that are in underserved communities, right? How do we ensure that, number one, the tech solutions that we're developing outside of their space is inclusive enough for them, right? For example, as much as I appreciate the kind of work going on in the fintech across Nigeria, we should not forget that some are still excluded. They're not banked yet, right? Because they do not have digital identity, which I think is something that we should look into. How do we leverage simple technologies such as SMS or USSD, right, to bring those people out, right? The last mile users into the mainstream space, right? So we need to also promote low-tech technology, right, to bring those from under-resourced, underserved, or marginalized communities into tech, right? What I think we also do would be to have some sort of public-private partnership, right? Private investment is quite important. Let's speak in the context of SDGs globally, right? The amounts of money needed to achieve the SDG by 2030, the public sector cannot finance it, right? So, and interestingly, the private sector are now the ones reaping the benefits of development. They'll be the one they have investors' money, you raise seed funding, all of those. How do you ensure that what you're doing, you're giving back to your community, right? So organizations we have a CSR strategy or ESG strategy. How do they ensure that it actually reflects safe environments for women? And also, I think we need to improve online safety protocols, right? Because the more we want to get girls and women into high city online, we need to ensure that it's actually safe for them, right? The issue of online harassment, online bullying, we need to ensure that we have effective law enforcement, right, and policies to ensure that there's online safety. If you develop an application as a software engineer or as a tech company, you want to ensure that people that are going to use it are safe, right? And also want to take the issue of data security, right, important, right? I think if we're able to have all of this thing in place, we're going to make the tech ecosystem or environment more safe and inclusive for women and girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Charles. And just to add to the question again, what about women or groups that are underrepresented? How can we make the tech space conducive for them too?
Great. So I think we might have to look at underrepresentation, right, broadly, right? So let's talk about people that are not connected, right? They're not within broadband range, right? Or we could even look about underrepresented as probably those living with some sort of physical challenges, right? Probably they could not, for example, you want to use the ATM machine, right? And it's about 3 kilometers from your house and you cannot walk, right? So how do we ensure that we're able to promote accessibility, right, for that kind of people, right? So we bring it closer to them. And that also comes to the point that we have to promote public-private partnership, right? You cannot expect the federal government to do everything. you can't expect the federal government to put 10 ATM machines in a local community. What's EcoBank, sorry, I don't want to name call. What are banks doing generally, right, to bring them, this facility or these solutions, right, closer to the people that need them the most? And I think one thing that we also need to do is to promote bottom-up approach in developing policies, right? Most of the times, and it's not in Nigeria, globally, when we design policies, they are not informed by the perception of the end users, right? So what I think also we need to do is ensure that when we're designing policy or solutions for these last mile users, we actually bring them to the table to inform. Probably tech guys, we call it user research, right? To understand how what we're designing can be inclusive for them, So I think we need to embrace that kind of approach as well.
Thank you so much for that, Charles. I'm going to learn. Just let me give him the mic. From your angle, how do you feel as if we can increase the opportunity for women to go into the tech space?
Okay.
Not just women, girls too.
Okay. Charles has said most of it, but I think one thing we have to also consider is that we have to also consider getting women from the basis of religion and lack thereof. So religion plays a large part in women's access to STEM, ICT, tech. So we have to, in everything we do, we have to make content that is religious sensitive. If I am going for an outreach in a core Muslim community, I would not take the same approach as if I was going to a community that speaks, that is Hindu-based or Judaism or atheist. I wouldn't do that. So in everything we do, when we are trying to get representation for women, we also have to go from the angle of religious biases. So that will also help bridge the gap in ICT. Also, like you said, public-private partnership. But I also feel the federal government has a huge role to play in bridging the gap in ICTs. I believe in every community, there should be at least one tech hub. One place where everybody can come, a community center. We have community centers across almost every ward in every local government. Now, imagine if 3 wards had just one technology center with about, say, 200 computers. Even if the whole community does not have access to tech equipment, like you said, they are expensive. Laptops, desktop, they are expensive. Data is expensive. But for the fact that they have a place they could call home, where they could come, learn, build, and go. It will foster their interest in ICT. So I feel that onus that lies on the federal government, not just the private. It is the federal government job to build tech hubs across different communities. That we have to take it down to the grassroots users, because that is where it comes from. Like he said, the unbanked and banked. We have over 100 million unbanked in Nigeria. If you check all the statistics, account and number of bank accounts we have, SIM cards, everything, more than half of Nigeria is still unbanked. So we have to really, really go deep into the grassroots and bring them out into ICT.
Thank you so much for that point. I never thought of it that way. Like, if we have technology center in our community, it will actually help us bridge this gap that we feel as if the people from the underdeveloped communities are actually facing. As you said, 200 computers, even though the community might be more than 200, but still, there's still a center there that is helping them bridge the gap. And as time goes on, I believe that it will. Thank you so much for that. Charles, going back to Charles deals with policy. How do you feel as if this particular point land raised can actually be implemented?
So interestingly, in 2020 to 2022, we implemented a program in partnership with the UK FCDO called the Education Digital Equity Initiative. And what we did then was to understand the challenges that schools in rural communities faced in leveraging digital technologies for learning. And we realized that the significant solution that was recommended was what you mentioned now, right? Community-based learning centers. And it's quite interesting that whenever we're designing solutions, right, in partnership with local communities, that actually helps sustainability, because that way they get ownership of that particular program. So I believe that that's something that could work, right? And it's also from the perspective of research, policy, and practice, right? Having established the fact that, okay, this thing can actually work, right? How do we ensure that we're able to provide the investment that particular kind of program, which I still believe it's in form of public-private partnership, right? And also community stakeholders. For example, a community can contribute by giving you the piece of land to host that kind of hub, right? Private sector guys, for example, I don't want to mention it, but HP can donate 200 computers, right? You could have the government say, okay, from our own contribution part, we want to donate this to this particular community. So, and we have philanthropists, we have NGOs, we have, international partners, right? The ITU, the UNCA, different people can also have mobilized investment, because I believe that for every sustainable solution, right, there has to be investment readiness, right, from the principal stakeholders, which in this community, in what we're talking about in this context now, it's in form of the local community, the government, and as well as development partners, and also the private sector actors. So, to bring that holistically together, to implement that kind of idea, which we have validated is research proven, we need principal stakeholders, the community people, right, private sector actors, government, and development partners that can also, come as co-financier of this kind of initiative that has been backed by research to be able to promote digital inclusion at the grassroots.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, yes, you can.
So that has been actually implemented in Lagos State. My organization, Teampreneurs Educational Foundation, we have a community like something like this at Alimosho local government in Lagos, where we host about 50 to 60 secondary school students on a weekend basis, where we teach them STEM skills. And as you have said, what had actually helped that community-based intervention is the public-private partnership. Last year, DJ Copy, is it Copy? Yeah, she donated laptops to the community center. The STEM advisor to the governor actually came to, when she saw, when they now see, when they saw the impact that the community center is having, everybody started coming there. But this has actually started way back. But people don't really, unless they see value, they see that this thing is actually working, they might not actually even pay attention to you. We started this thing since 2020, but just last year is when we started getting the support that we actually needed. The governor came down to the community center. DJ Copy came to donate laptops. Last 2 weeks, HP sent us a mail that they want to host some of the students in their company and also give them support as well. We've been able to actually help 2 of the students to attend African Leadership University at Rwanda based on full scholarship. So it's working, but we need more.
Yeah, we need more. We need more. We need more. This is the energy we need. Let's keep saying we need more, and we need to demand more. So, do you want to add something, Adela? Okay. We need more, really. So, yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. This conversation, I told you, you are going to learn a lot. These are experts. These are experts in the field. Yeah. My next question will be, going back to the first question I asked at the beginning, I said, which skills do you feel as if it's most important and women need to learn or go into? And you all gave me your different answer. Now I'm going back to that question I'm asking now. How do you think women can learn that skills? What are the steps you think they can take? What platform do you think they can use to learn? Are there organizations, companies, links, online courses? Where do you feel as if women can take these skills or learn these digital skills that you recommend? So yeah, starting with you, Lan.
Okay, so I recommended cybersecurity. Before I tell the platform, I would say why I recommended cybersecurity. You see, in as much as we might deny this, but women suffer most disparately to online bullying, to trolls on the internet. So the internet is really not a safe place for women most times. So I feel they should go into cybersecurity because they could make the internet safer for all of us. Now, platforms for a skill like cybersecurity, you see, there's a well-defined path. There are different paths, but it's well-defined. You could go the AWS route, you could go the GCP route, you could go Cisco route, you could go Huawei route. There are so many routes. But I personally, if I was recommending, I would say you start with YouTube. YouTube has a lot of free resources so that you wet your beak. You know what you're getting into. You have a good understanding of what you want. Then there are cheaper solutions like Udemy, where zero to no cost, it's not really expensive. You get the skills. Then when you feel like you're good and you're good to go, and you need the certification, the industry validation, you start applying for the certifications from AWS, from Huawei, from GCP. And then you have the solutions architect, you have the developer advocate, so many cool courses, you know. And then, please, I think every woman should learn how to hack. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Benita.
Okay, so earlier on I mentioned social media, right? Putting yourself out there. So for me, I feel one gap that exists in women actualizing their digital skills is information gap, right? So okay, when I went to serve, I served in a very local community in school. I see that some of these girls, right, they don't know what to do with their life. Like some of them don't want to be doctors, some don't want to be anything. They're just this. You don't really know what is out there. They're just like there. They don't. So I feel I think every woman, right, every girl should be able to access information online. Okay, now one of my students said he wanted to be an artist. I'm like, okay, do you know any popular artist or famous artist you want to be like? He knows nothing about it. But I mean, I still come online. I see a child of 13 years old or 7-year-old child saying, I'm a software developer, and you see that guy having a lot of posts and followers and all of that. And before he turns 20, he already has the resources and everything he needs to actually achieve his career path. So I feel every lady should just try, right? And like access information online. They should improve their online presence and also network, and also go out because if you're not online, if you don't know how to navigate social media, you will know there's anything called She Code Africa, because you will not see it on a poster anywhere. Your daddy's not going to tell you about She Code Africa. Nobody's going to tell you about Ingressive for Good. Almost everything I know about what I do now, I got it online myself. So if you know how to manage your online presence, how to source information and all of that, you'll be good to go. But I mean, there's a boundary to this, because kids of these days would rather go and do something else with social media. But if they can turn around, if they can turn that around, there's a lot of gold to mine from being active on social media.
Thank you so much for that, Benedetta. Yeah, Adiola.
Okay. Can you hear me? All right. I started the first question. I think I made mention of digital literacy, and that is just knowing the basics of how to use your phone, how to navigate, how to make use of your system to get to know some things. If really you want to get some digital skills, fine. All of those are very important. That is just the basic. Like she said, there is no how you will get to know about She Code Africa, Ingressive for Good, or some other ones without you knowing how to navigate your phone and all of those. Some people are afraid of making mistake, or maybe doing some things on their phone and then the phone gets locked. Make the mistake first, and let's find someone to help you to solve it. And then don't be afraid of asking questions, because it goes a long way. You can't know it all, right? And don't be ashamed that you don't know it, right? And I used to say some things to people that want to go deeply into, let's say, into digital skill, like tech skills. There are a whole lot of it out there that you can do. It's not until you write code. It is not until you design. In fact, there are some people, they are skilled in writing. And trust me, technical writer, even me, I pay people to write for me. Thank God for ChatGPT. They are making money from writing. If your skill is to write, if you think you have the talent of writing, you can actually develop yourself with writing. Some people will write on LinkedIn, like, be like, almost some people have talent. Do you understand? And with that, they get to know them, and that is what they get paid for. Right. Another thing is, let's say, design. We have product design, which is UI UX. We have graphic design. We have 3D. Depending on the ones you can do, right? Depending on your interest. It's not a crime to try everything. I have people that they try everything. By the time you try everything, you come back to the one that you can do. It's just like you going around and then coming back, right? And if you think it is like you can deal with coding and all of that, your brain can carry it, you won't be down when you have challenges and all of that, then you can go for it. And then there are a whole lot of platform online that you can do. You can do self-learning. Some people are not still good with self-learning. Some people prefer a mentor. Like me, I got a mentor to mentor me, to teach me some things. So the only thing is just know what works for you, and you'll be good.
Okay, thank you so much, Charles, Vivian. In 1-2 minutes, just
I would try
let
to
us know how
summarize
to
in 2
how to
minutes.
go into.
So I think it's important for us to improve, to start from somewhere what I call basic literacy. I will give a contextual background to that. Last year, we implemented a digital skills program for 2 different beneficiary categories, for some children high DP camps and from some in normal community. At the end of that program, we compared the performance of those people. We're trying to assess their digital skills competency. And interestingly, those guys from like an average or band community did well compared to the guys from IDP because of one thing. Their level of literacy skills actually influence the digital skills development. Those that they understand what online is, they know what internet is, they know what Google, they know the meaning of Google, they know what computer is. They were able to develop digital skills faster than those that don't even have basic literacy skills, and they could not communicate in English well, right? So I think where we have to start from again is the fact that we need to approach this thing holistically, right? We need to evangelize the benefits of digital economy and digital skills development to participate in a particular economy. But also, let's come back to the foundation, right? How do we improve basic literacy to people to actually benefit from those advantages? And what I think is one of the most important skills for people to acquire, like women and girls, is mobile skills, right? The GSMA actually rated mobile skills as very important. With mobile skills, you can do mobile photography, you can do content writing, you can do social media management, you could do agent banking for people with your mobile phone, right? So I think mobile skills is very important as a critical digital skills to participate in the digital economy. I think that's less than 2 minutes.
Thank you for that, Charles. I will go with that, your last point, with mobile skills. I always tell people I used my phone back then in university to write and use the money I got to buy my laptop. So I'll actually agree with you with that.
Okay, yeah, so just to continue from where I stopped, basic literacy skill is very important. So after we've been able to empower them with the basic literacy skills there, we can now help them identify their interests. So what are you interested in? What are you passionate about? You don't need to have everything figured out, but just a bit of direction. For me, I'm interested in healthcare, anything that is going to make healthcare accessible to more people. So what tech can I develop to achieve that? So we need to firstly help them identify their skills, their interest, right? If you're interested in photography, then learn this. If you're interested in helping people use products very well, product design, products, all of those things. If you're interested in data or you're very mathematical, you can do data analytics or you can do machine learning, all of those things. I think after basic literacy skills, then the next thing is to help them identify their interest and passion. Then the next thing is to develop the digital skill, the tech skill that will enhance or support their passion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. From the conversation, I've learned different way to develop my tech skills. Lan told me of Udemy. Yeah, no, I'm listening. Listing the courses he mentioned, the online site, Udemy, Coursera. Please louder. We need to learn this. Yes.
You have plural sites,
Okay.
Free Code Camp, Coursera,
Okay.
YouTube, surprisingly, Khan Academy, Travesty. There's so many. I'm even forgetting some. So, AWS, they have their white papers. GCP have the playground. Andela has I think they've stopped it now, but they had this partnership with Google where they trained front end and cloud engineers for like 3 years in a row. And it was an awesome. We call it ALC, Andela Learning Community. But I think the community is still strong. That's still another good place to learn.
Oh wow! Thank you so much for that, Lan. Yeah, to our audience, do you have any questions? Okay, there are any questions.
Thank you. So I have like quick 4 questions. One for Charles, one for Adiola, and the cute man with the white. So for Mr. Charles, how is your organization able to break the norm in our education system in terms of people have computers in school and they can't access those computers, and then they finish school like for 15 years and they can't operate a computer system, and they have to go to the side road and learn computer under 3 months and become more better than when they were in school? That's the first question. So for Adiola, could you bring us up to speed with big data and cable optics in terms of Nigeria? How are we going to navigate? Because that's like the highest point of internet in the current in this current dispensation. And then for Sir, could you talk more on cyber security in terms of like there's trade war in terms of chips? I know that chips is used in building almost every technology that we have, and chips is produced by an Asian country. Yeah. So how can we produce chips here in Nigeria, and how can it help the military in the aspect of robotics to provide security for the nation, to provide internet security as well? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have another question. I want us to take our questions because we are actually far behind. We've run out of time. Is there any other question? Okay, no. So yeah, we just have 3 questions. 4 questions. It's 3 questions. One for Adiola, one for Charles, one for Lan. You have a question.
All right, thank you very much. The conversation is very, very interesting. You know, I'm not a tech person, but I always come up with some ideas that has to do with tech, because I see that the world is moving into the tech space now. You know, because of the climate challenge. You know, we need to invest in tech more. So my question is, how can the inclusion of women in tech space help in building resilient and free violence society? That's my question. It's a general question for you.
Okay, it's a general question. Thank you so much for that. So please, 1 to 2 minutes, and 1 to 2 minutes. Your answer should just be 1 to 2 minutes. Wow.
Okay, I will start from his question, right? He was talking about how do we address the fact that people go to schools, they have access to computers in the schools, and they come out without having basic computer skills, right? So the first thing I think we need to do is to improve information literacy, right? People should understand the benefits of digital skills, right? We cannot leverage something that we don't know the importance of it, right? You might not be drinking water if you don't know the importance of water to you, right? So we need to improve information literacy. The second thing is what I believe it's a policy level intervention, right? I mean, I mentioned earlier that right now in secondary schools, computer science is not compulsory in secondary schools, right? So making that compulsory makes it important that everyone that goes to secondary school actually acquires basic digital skills while in school, right? With that, they can probably identify a passion that they have and develop it further. And the third level, which I think would be a good one as well, would be community-based interventions, right? Going into the, underserved communities, right, rural communities, and evangelize the importance of digital skills, and also make people aware of the accelerated digital transformation that is going on. I mean, the COVID-19 pandemic itself has exposed us to the fact that the technology itself is actually transforming every aspect of our society, from social to economy to health, everywhere. So we need to go into these communities to provide, basic sensitization for people and make them aware, and also develop their skills, right, in that regard. And to what he asked, right, how does digital skills or technology, right, reduce social inequalities or barriers? I think when people have the skills, right, and when we can improve people's economic productivity by giving them labor market skills, right, relevant labor market, we're actually going to reduce inequality in society. Number one, we have people earning money, we have people going to work. I mean, people would say that an idle hand is the devil's workshop, right? So improving people's economic productivity by giving them market-relevant digital skills would actually help us to reduce inequality and violence in society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adiola.
Okay, so I would like him to ask his question. I didn't hear it. Yeah? Okay. Person working in tech. Odiola. Okay, well, data is actually very important. Data analysis is a very important thing. And funny enough is you can have the data and then you don't know how to make maximum use of it. So I think it's very, very important. In fact, like for me now, imagine I have these people in the room. This is actually like a data for me. Imagine me trying to network with everybody in this room, and then I get to know, okay, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? How can we network? How can we work together? Those things. Yeah, that is meaning like I'm actually making positive use of the data that I have just inside this house, right? Inside this building. So imagine now bringing it out there. There are a whole lot of ways that we can actually maximize what we want to do. The only thing is just like we have to look within. How can this add to us positively? How can this help us move forward as a country or as a society, as the case may be, right?
Okay. Okay, so let me add something. So there's a saying that data is the new oil, right? So I think as a country we need to like invest more in research and development, and I think it's also what makes the advanced countries higher than us, right? Because they always invest in research and development. They know where they are. They know the next thing to do. They can predict the future. They can do a lot with the data they have. But we, the third world countries, don't really invest in research and development as we should. So I mean, if we can do that, there will be more insight into how we can create policies that will help everyone better. And also to add to what he said, I don't know, you mentioned something about climate change. So okay, so now for climate change, how digital skills can come in and how women can come in is that some of these women in the local area, they know the environment more than you, right? So one thing about tech is that technology is an enabler. Anything you are doing, you add tech into it, it's going to make it work. So we can private sector can come in and ensure that the information that these women have there, the knowledge they have there, maybe someone knows a woman is very versed with her environment. She knows that when the sun at this period of time in the year, this is the kind of crop I grow, or at this period of time in the year my crops are doing very badly, and the tech people can just come in and just work something together. It's going to help prevent or help us adapt to climate change better. And also we have to bring digital skills to these women so that there's a way that they can report their climate around them, the way that they can also like just do a normal report, so something can work around there.
Thank you so much.
To answer your question, right, about cybersecurity chips and robotics, right, I will give you, before I answer, I'll give an example. The highest paid robotics engineer in the world is in Nigeria. Silas Adesole, you know him, right? Now, that means you should also know of Moore's law. You know Moore's law? Every so year, the chips for the amount of microprocessors double and the cost of manufacturing halves. Why am I saying this? It means right now, it means we are the best time as a country to get into it. So chips play a huge part in developing the country's military. You see, most of the technological advancements we have now heightened during the Cold War. Why? America and Russia were going at it to see who had better, and then that's where it started. They landed on the moon. A lot of technology advancement in that was 1960, 1965. That was where a lot of this technology advancement happened. So now, Nigeria right now, this is the right time. You know, we had the .com boom. Right now we have the AI boom. So one thing that AI needs is chips. You see, NVIDIA, Intel trying to bring out new chips. Even Apple has to chip to their own ones, because this is the time for chips. So as a country, this is the right time. Now with chips, one thing with chips is that you configure it how you want, and they have the security you desire. See, have you tried jailbreaking an iPhone? One of the most complex things in the world to do. You see, Android, you plug in and 10 seconds in, you're in. But you see, that is chip security. It happens because that is what you do, and you can configure how you want.
So I think right now, it's not when we talk about tech, we get swept up in web dev, mobile. There's so much more. So much more. We have games, game dev. We have, everybody likes playing football, game dev. Everybody likes, we have cyber security, we have robotics, automation, autonomous systems, smart cars. That is still tech. So I think right now, this is the time, as a country and as a people, to have a chip that we call our own.
Thank you so much. Okay, Charles.
Something to the question about big data, right? So last year, I think I saw a movie called it's Coded Bias on Netflix, right? And it's how data is quite important that actually kind of exacerbates social inequalities, right? You have AI system that doesn't recognize black faces, that doesn't recognize black women faces, right? So talking about, we need to ensure that we're actually promoting the advocacy of data ethics, accountability, and fairness, right? These are things that we need to improve when we're talking about big data, algorithm, talking about AI integration. How do we, ChatGPT now, if you're asking that, if you put a question about a doctor, a nurse, it's most likely to represent a nurse as a woman. Which, a nurse could be a man as well. So we need to actually ensure that we're training our data, and data is not always one-sided, it can be biased as well. So we need to ensure that we're actually preaching the gospel of accountability, fairness, and data ethics to ensure that we're not marginalizing people because we want to advance by the virtue of technology.
Thank you.
I'll say something about data, right? So there's this very fun math thing called the fractal. So you should check it. If you look at the fractal, it's just random dots. Now, when you pick two dots, half it, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. At first, it seems like random dots. Eventually, a pattern emerges. That is the power of big data. Now, it's big data, dumb. When you look at it, and you keep looking at it, eventually, you see the pattern. Now, those patterns help bridge the biases. That is the power of big data.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It has been an interesting conversation. You will all agree with me. Okay, so before I officially close this panel discussion, quick one, starting with you, Lan. So, if you were to go back to school, which course will you study?
Computer science.
What did you study before?
Mechanical engineering.
Okay. Okay, going to you, Benedita. So, if you were to have a lunch with one tech expert, dead or alive, who will it be?
Wow. Dead or alive. I would actually like to have a lunch with Jessica Ayebele.
Oh wow, that's cool. So, Adiola, going to you. If you were to go back to your if you have the authority and the power to make a course compulsory for senior secondary school, which course will you make compulsory? Definitely. Charles, if you were to remove a compulsory course, please say maths.
I'm going to remove geography.
A man of culture. I agree. I never liked it. I agree.
Okay. So, to you, Vivian. So, which particular trend currently do you feel as if you like? Technological trend or device that is making your life easier, unlike before, maybe 10 or 15 years ago?
I said ChatGPT, but essentially AI.
Okay, thank you so much, our viewers online. Thank you for staying with us up to now. Thank you, our participants. Thank you for coming. And thank you to our panelists. It's been an amazing time with you. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of the citizen conversation for this month. See you again next month for another episode of Citizen Conversation.
Wonderful.